back in episode 7, we had a podcast where we talked about the difference in federal powers and presidential powers and state and local and where you should be spending your time and thoughts, more so closer to home, less so thinking about who the president is. And in the course of doing that, I got hyperbolic and I was just, I understated presidential powers. And with the recent developments and stuff that's come out of the White House has shown that I severely understated presidential powers, even though I don't think that what's going on right now is sustainable long term because of a whole lot of reasons. I do have to admit that I understated what the president can and can't do domestically. Luckily, after making those statements and then with the current situation, my wife and some good friends of mine like Devon, kind of reached out and said, hey, you kind of took that too far. And I appreciate the fact that I had people come up to me who disagreed with me or maybe agreed to a certain level, but just not to the level that I was speaking, and said, hey, you need to pull that back because you went too far. And so I have to own that and I have to apologize for going too far. And that's just one of those things where I will get better. I know that, I can be a very kind of emotional speaker. And when I want to get the point across, I do tend to use hyperbolic language, which I'm really working on getting out of my thought process. But until I do, then I'm going to have to sit here and apologize and just continue to work on getting better.
Yeah. And I think in good faith, what you were saying is still valid, that we need to really pay attention to local as, well, because that impacts us day to day. But when you're dealing with someone who is making really rash decisions, even though they may not stick, there's judges who are blocking it or overturning it and all of that. It's still doing damage.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's definitely damaging us socially.
Yes.
And so that's something to keep in mind. Like, I think this is a very unique situation. We may not have.
Yes. Hopefully we will never see a situation like this again.
Ever. But it is true that you still need to really pay attention to your local elections, because I know some people don't even involve themselves in that at all.
Yeah.
But definitely who sits up there and the things that come out of their mouth.
Yes.
It can be, very some people don't understand how everything works, and it causes a ton of trauma.
Yes.
And it's just totally unnecessary. I think people are on edge, and, people are joking about how January felt like it was 95 days long.
Right.
And so there's some truth to that. Like things are being stretched out and whatnot because of, certain things that are going on. So, yeah. So I appreciate you coming back and saying that, because I think we've had like lengthy conversations
absolutely
about that, because I really felt it, make a huge difference. And whoever it is, right? If it's Republican or Democrat, but
well, honestly, the message for me is in my passion not to create exaggerations out of my passion. I feel really passionate about, really concentrating on state and local issues, because those are the issues that impact you the most. But I also have to create space for what's going on in the federal government right now and what's coming out of the White House these days. And so that's a lesson for me that I will take on and I will work on getting better.